We don't hear much about Melchizedek in the Bible. Who is he? Well, in fact, you only really see him in two places. We only see him doing anything in this passage here in Genesis, and then he's mentioned later in kind of allusion to Jesus, and I'll get to that. So Melchizedek was the high priest of the Most High God, and this was before the priesthood had been established. He was the priest in Salem, which most scholars believe is Jerusalem. Jerusalem means city of peace. Jerusalem, that's city of peace. So it's like, hey, there's peace. Well, then eventually it's the city of peace, and it just became part of the name. Jerusalem, Salem. Okay, same thing. So now this was during the time of Abraham. You find him in this passage here in Genesis, and Abraham enlists his help as kind of the mediator between Abraham and an enemy who has captured his nephew Lot. And so he negotiates for Lot's release. Now, one thing that Melchizedek does is he actually brings out bread and wine to help with the proceedings. Now, a lot of people believe that this is actually the pre-incarnate Christ. This is Jesus before he became man and just manifesting himself. And it's not a far-fetched idea, because Melchizedek is actually referred to in this passage here, where it talks about how Jesus could be from the tribe of Judah but yet still be a high priest, because he's from the order of Melchizedek. It means he didn't have to be a Levite, he was just chosen by God to be a priest like Melchizedek was. Now, do I believe it was actually Christ? No, I believe he was a type. He was a foreshadowing of who Christ would be, and that's why Christ is of the order of Melchizedek. But is it possible? Sure, it's possible. But I find it interesting that in order to negotiate the release of Lot from this captor, that Melchizedek brings out bread and wine. Well, that's pretty interesting, because that's what Jesus gave at the Last Supper. And that's what we use for communion, to remember the body and blood of Christ that frees us from our debt. Just a thought.